Hi guys. I wanted to talk today about, first of all, don't expect me to do a video every single day. I'm just doing another one today because I am procrastinating on a paper, and I'm sure as we all know, when you're procrastinating, you will do anything to not do that paper. But, today I wanted to talk about fan fiction. Not just fan fiction in general, but my introduction to fan fiction. Um, my official introduction to fan fiction was when I was about 12, 13 years old. I was in 7th grade, and I found fanfiction.net. And I don't remember what brought me to the specific fic that I was reading, but I guess I went on fanfiction.net and I went in like Harry Potter fics and just looked at the first one that was there. And it happened to be a Severitas fic. If any of you know what Severitas is, it's like one of those fics where Snape is Harry's real father. It didn't follow the exact rules of the Severitas challenge, but it was still Snape was Harry's real father. Actually, in this case, Snape was Harry's mother because it was a gay impreg one. But I remember reading it, and I remember being, like, kind of weirded out a little bit at first, because, like, you know, pregnant dude. But, I started to really, really like it, and then after that, I just wanted to read more fan fiction, more Harry Potter fan fiction, very much mostly gay slash fan fiction. That wasn't weird for me. I mean, at this point, I already knew that I liked guys, so nothing different out of my book. But that was my official introduction to fanfiction. After that, I was reading fanfiction.net constantly. The account that I have on fanfiction.net right now, if any of you have found me, because I mean, I'm Padawan Ryan everywhere on the internet, was not made back then. That one was made when I was about 16, and I started really, really getting into Pirates of the Caribbean fanfiction. Because I only made the account when I wanted to start publishing my own fanfiction on the website. Before then, I just searched for fics. I would keep my tabs open, and when I was done the fic, I was done the fic. I didn't favorite things or anything. Although my current fanfiction.net account has hundreds and hundreds of favorites. I mean, it has been floating around now for 10 years, so. But, anyways, although that was my official introduction to fanfiction, it was not my introduction in general, because I realized later in life that I had been writing fanfiction for as long as I could remember, without understanding that it was indeed fanfiction. And I came to this realization when I thought about, like, when I was 12, I was really obsessed with the movie Labyrinth. And I started writing my own kind of, like, sequels to the movie, to the point where I wrote an entire series on my computer that went up to Labyrinth 18. And, it's quite interesting to think about, because it's like, at that time, you're writing it and you're thinking, oh, cool, I'm just continuing on the story the way I would like to see it be done. But you don't realize that that's what it is. It's fan fiction. And I really wish I still had my old computer, because even though it was all really badly written, at the same time, the plots were actually really good. So I would love to just go back, post it for nostalgia, read it for nostalgia, anything like that. I also used to write real-life fan fiction, as in, like, I wrote this story where Iron Maiden was running an orphanage. It's interesting, but yeah, I mean, even earlier on, when I was 11, my sister and I wrote a Harry Potter play, which was supposed to be like a stage performance that we were just writing to do with our friends that we never ended up doing. But, very creative we were. At the time, there was only 4 books out. The 5th book still hadn't come out. It came out later, that year, after I turned 12. But we called it Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Prisoner in Chamber of Fire. But we wrote this play, and I mean, that is Harry Potter fanfiction. I mean, even now, The Cursed Child is a book that is written like a play. And honestly, the absurdity of The Cursed Child is pretty much exactly what my sister and I wrote. We wrote absurdities like that. And when we were reading The Cursed Child, like, all we could think about was our own Harry Potter play. I mean, the plot's very different because ours took place while they were still in Hogwarts, not when Harry's kids were in Hogwarts. But, again, it was just this crazily written that when we were reading The Cursed Child, we're like, oh my god, did our childhood selves write this? But, so I was writing fanfiction pretty much without knowing it when I was like 11 years old. And actually, I've been writing fanfiction even longer, because the first book that I ever wrote, which my mom put a date on and, like, kept in a box for a long time, it was, like, July 5th, 1997 or something, was, I wrote a book using Sailor Moon stickers, and it was these, like, rules of life type thing. When you're sick, have chicken soup, don't run around the pool, brush your teeth every night. Basic stuff like that parents teach you when you're a child. But I had written it with Sailor Moon stickers, so it was like a Sailor Moon book of rules. And I mean, it's not like I was writing necessarily a plot or anything, so I don't consider it legitimate fan fiction. But the fact is that I was using Sailor Moon characters to emphasize my point. And that's kind of what fan fiction is. You're writing a specific point, and you're just using somebody else's created characters to emphasize that point. So I just think it was really interesting that when I was like 13 years old, I came across fanfiction.net and thought, oh my god, this is so cool. This is awesome. I'm going to read a shit ton of this for the rest of my life. And I've kept to that. And I want to write some of this too. And it came to the point where I realized much later on that, wait, I'd already been writing fanfiction for quite some time. So it was just interesting to make that realization. So yeah, I'm approaching 7 minutes now, as I can see, so, I'm not gonna keep you listening to this bore for much longer. Any of you who actually watched this long and to this point, write in the comments, fanfiction. Do you read fanfiction? What was your introduction to fanfiction? How old were you? What kind of fanfiction? Did you like it? Do you still like it? And if you were like me and you were writing fanfiction long before you actually realized that you were writing fanfiction, before you even knew what fanfiction was, let me know what kind of fanfiction you were apparently writing. For example, my Labyrinth series had Jareth and Sarah married, having children in the underground, but it got to that point after a while. Like, they didn't get married till, like, Labyrinth 5 or something, because, I mean, she's still a teenager in Labyrinth 2, and we're kind of continuing to that point. I was very conscious about the fact that she was a teenager, and so even, like, my 12-year-old self would not write her as married until she was after 18. So, yeah. Let me know, and, again, as usual, I will not be surprised if nobody comments, because I'm surprised if anybody's watching this bullshit. But, yeah, leave some comments, and if you don't like this video, or you don't want to hear this bullshit, instead of subscribing, which you can absolutely do, just mosey along on YouTube, as I usually tell you. So, yeah. Have fun. Happy weekend.